Hey folks, well this is Anurag from Facets.cloud and today we're going to talk about AI infrastructure as code. Now it's a term that's starting to gain a lot of attention and many people believe it could be the next evolution of cloud infrastructure management. But before we dive into AI infrastructure as code, it is very important to understand the foundation it builds upon. Infrastructure as code, or we can say IAC. So what exactly is infrastructure as code? Let's say you're deploying an application on AWS. Now to run that application, you need to create VPCs, subnets, route tables, security group, IAM roles, compute services like EC2, EKS, load balancers, and lot more. A few years ago, engineers would provision all of these resources manually through AWS Console. They'd click through different pages, configure every service one by one, and hope that everything was set up correctly. Now imagine doing the same thing again and again for staging environment, then again for production, then maybe across multiple accounts or regions, right? It is not only time consuming, but it's also very easy to make mistakes. One missing security rule or one incorrect IAM permission or just one forgotten configuration can break entire deployment. And because everything was done manually, reproducing exact same thing, exact same infrastructure consistently became the real challenge. That's where infrastructure as code changed everything. Now, instead of creating infrastructure through web console, engineers started defining infrastructure in code using tools like Terraform, OpenTofu, CloudFormation, Helm, or Kubernetes Manifest. Now, the code describes the desired state of the infrastructure and the provisioning tools ensure that the cloud environment matches the definition. Now, here the biggest advantage is that your infrastructure is no longer defined by manual clicks. It's defined by code stored in Git. Every change is version controlled, reviewed through pull requests, tracked over time, and can be rolled back whenever required. Now, the same code can provision identical deployment, staging, and production environments, eliminating configuration drift and making deployments predictable and repeatable. But here's the catch. Infrastructure as code automates infrastructure provisioning, not infrastructure engineering. Engineers still have to understand cloud architectures, networking, IAM, Kubernetes, Terraform, and a lot of things. They still spend hours writing configuration files, reviewing plans, fixing failed deployments, maintaining and updating the infrastructure as requirement evolve. So while infrastructure as code removed manual clicks, it didn't remove the complexity. It simply moved that complexity into code. And that's exactly where the next evolution begins. AI infrastructure as code. Now imagine having an AI that doesn't just generate Terraform or Kubernetes YAML, but actually understands your entire infrastructure. It knows your cloud resources, Kubernetes clusters, deployment services, and relationships between all of them. Now, instead of manually searching through dashboards, logs, documentation, Git repositories, you can simply ask your AI what you want and what you want to accomplish. That's the idea behind AI infrastructure as code. And at Facets.cloud, we are building the vision with Praxis. Now, Praxis isn't just AI assistant. It's an AI infrastructure engineer. It sits on top of your infrastructure with complete operational context. It understands how your infrastructure built, how your applications are deployed, how your Kubernetes clusters are configured, and how all these components are connected. That means now you can ask anything about your infrastructure to Praxis. For example, you can ask why exactly my deployment is failing, which service is causing this incident, or you can generate a Terraform or a production-ready EKS cluster. Now, Praxis doesn't answer these questions based on generic internet knowledge. It answers them using the context of your infrastructure. Now, instead of jumping between AWS Console, Kubernetes dashboard, Grafana, Prometheus, Git repositories, Terraform modules, Helm charts, and documentation, you work with a single AI that understands your entire infrastructure. That's what makes AI infrastructure as code different. It's not about replacing infrastructure as code, it's about making infrastructure as code more intelligent.